Welcome, everybody. Good evening. We
Hi.
are doing a short Facebook Live about right recovery, and the subtitle is "What do you know about it?" Because basically, for me, right recovery was something where I thought, I'm not an addict. I don't need to take that class, so that's done. Plenty of access classes. I don't need this one. And that lasted until I heard Marilyn talk. And it took her all about 2 sentences to grab my attention. And that was, for me, was the moment where I just thought, I need to be in this class. I need to, this is what I need to know. So that's what it did for me. So what were these 2 sentences? Now, I have invited 3 wonderful ladies, and all 3 of them are going to be translating the very next Right Recovery class. And we have got Diana, who's going to be translating into German. We've got Susan, who's going to be translating into Italian. And we've got Dr. Sarah Alfaro, who's going to be translating into Spanish. And I would love to ask these ladies what they think about the class, what they know about it. And I would love to start with Sarah, because she's like an old timer. She's taken this class before. She's translated it before. So this is going to be one where she actually knows an awful lot about it. And so I would like to start with you, Sarah. What was it like for you? First of all, what made you choose the class?
Well, actually, it started with a book club. It actually started with creating a book club with Marilyn that just clicked when we were doing, I don't know what class we were in together. And she mentioned something about reaching out to the Spanish, to other parts of the world. And I said, why don't you do something in, Latin America, and we can start creating more public in Spanish. And I started doing the book club with her. And of course, I had that point of view. I don't have an addiction problem. Well, yeah, maybe to food. Yeah, food has been my situation, just binging sometimes and all that, escaping into food. But as we started the book club, she, in her, sweet, but very to the point way, she got me to really understand that I had the main addiction to judgment, to perfection, and to control. Oh my God, I was like super control freak. I still am. So I could say I am choosing extra control behavior right now that is not really working for me, but I can now postpone that and have those like 5 extra seconds where I can really see myself, what I'm doing, and if it's really working for me or not. And then I can just choose something else. So that was my adventure with the book club. It was amazing. And then when we started to organize the class and to talk to people about it, and then when I did the class, it was such a space for, I don't know, just getting to know myself in a deeper way, without any judgment, without any I don't know, guilty feelings for having eaten too much, or for not having I don't know, for especially allowing other people to take advantage of me sometimes, because I have like being good syndrome. That's another addiction. So now I've learned a little bit more how to say yes when I want to say yes, and to say no when it doesn't work for me, and just follow that knowing and follow that energy. But I don't feel like I have to please people anymore. So I had the other addiction, being a people pleaser. So see, there's a long list of addictions that I'm still working on. And that's why I'm taking it a second time to see how many onion layers I can peel off myself. And to really, as Marilyn says, to get more of you. I mean, to really get to that golden kernel way inside of you, and to just really follow what is true and light for you. I mean, I know we've all heard this before, because Zane always talks about being you change the world. But in this class, you really get to experience it. You really get to take all these extra layers that you've been putting onto yourself to try to fit in, to try to please. For whatever reason you've chosen, all the things we choose to hide ourselves. And it's a really super practical class. There's a lot of activities. There's a lot of games even. I mean, it's fun. The class is fun. So I really recommend it. And as a doctor, I do health, alternative healing. I do functional medicine. So it's a lot of mind body work. So being in the alternative field, I really recommend all these tools because that'll help not just you as a practitioner or as a teacher or as a mom or just as a partner, but it will also be able to help other people. And the way that when you relax into your life, when you have really more space for yourself, you can really be that invitation for the people that come near you. And that's the way that I'm changing my own world and the world around me. And I'm choosing more for myself. As you can see, I'm doing this Zoom from the beach house. So I'm, choosing more for myself, stepping up to what I want in my life, and I'm just asking for it, and it's being created. So thanks
Wow.
to Marilyn and everything that I've learned there and put into practice. So that's what I have to say about the class. Just take it. I mean, dive into it. It'll be
But
great.
it's very interesting what you say. Well, first of all, one of the things that Marilyn always says is, I mean, she's a psychotherapist, and she started off as a psychotherapist without knowing any of the tools from Access. And then she just learned it the old school way, the AA way, the 12-step way. And what she says is then when she started using or letting the Access tools go into the class, into her sessions, it turned out that the people that were seeing her clients, were getting better, sooner, faster. So that's when she contacted Gary and asked, hey, can we do something with this? And so that's when she started to combine the two, the best of both worlds, which means that she's doing more for the clients than she did before. And I think that's awesome. And the second thing that I picked up from what you were saying is, I mean, there's many addictions. There is alcohol, there's drugs, as we all know, there is gambling, shopping, and there's also perfection, pleasing others. Basically, what, like Marilyn always puts it, is addiction is where you leave yourself.
Yes.
And so it's exactly what you're telling yourself. Everywhere you're leaving yourself, and in favor of hiding, not being seen, being left alone. And being left alone is probably also very often one of the things that people are looking for if they go into an addiction. And that is just behavior that is very common. And now that I've used the word behavior, that's also something that Marilyn always says. Addiction is just a form of behavior. So if it's behavior, then we all know it's chosen. And so if you choose your behavior, what else could you choose?
Yeah, and actually yesterday when we were talking for the Italians, it actually came up that we're talking about mainly habits, and then we judge the good habits and the bad habits. And so the bad habits are the ones that you actually have to let go or solve the problem about that bad habits you have. But the good habits are the ones you actually stick on and you hold on those, and which limit you even more than the bad habits, because the bad habits you will choose to let go if they become a problem. But the good habits, why should you let them go? They are so, useful, functional. You're so functional for this reality. And seriously, that's another way in which we hide our capacity to choose. And it's quite impressive, because I'm being reflecting about this today, and I actually noticed how many times we go in this kind of wouldn't say really addiction, but it's just a kind of autopilot that limits completely your choice. So that's very interesting too. And I'm so interested in doing this class, because I edited the book when it was translated in Italian, and it was such a surprise to have to do with a completely new vision of all of this. And I'm so happy to be in this adventure and see what comes up, what we can actually change now that reality has changed. So what can we use now to, our advantage to choose and create? So what else is possible?
Awesome. Absolutely. And so, Diana, what is it for you?
Yes, first of all, I'm very, very excited. As Marilyn wrote me, comes toward me, and would you enjoy to translate my cousin? What? What? No, yes, and and I admit I didn't read the book till there because it was addiction. No, yes, I eat chocolate, yes, but I had stopped smoking so, right before, so it was not really present, but it was very interesting to see how in the traditional way we are treating addicted persons, because once in our world, when you are addicted, you stay addicted. Yes, I'm alcoholica, my name is blah, 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 I'm alcoholica, you are always blamed, you have harmed your family, etc., etc., and you never get rid of it. And as you said, Ingrid, it is a behavior and it is a choice and not your reality. But once here in our world, you stuck in this reality, but because you are forced to stay in, because you have to say, I'm alcoholic, I'm very guilty, I feel bad, I regret all what I've done. And that's the difference between disempowering and what the access to is to empower the people and to not to make them wrong, just give them new possibilities and to make a new choice. And that's it. Very, very excited because you can have so many people, not even if you are not a therapist, but even only not to judge them or judge myself for whatever, to give him maybe a question or a tool or something else, and to tell him he's not wrong, even if he has created this addiction for him, and to show him the way maybe to get out of them from himself. And that's, yes, it's amazing. And it's for everyone. Everyone can attend this class, no prereq. It's
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, it's so cool. So why don't do it?
Yes. Exactly. That's true. And everyone can attend the class. And it also counts towards the prereqs if you want to become a facilitator for the right recovery. And if you're a CF already, then you can join the CF training anyway. You do not have to take the 2.5-day classes, it's officially called. It's spread out a bit longer this time because we're taking care of all the time zones, so it's going to be comfortable for Europe, starting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. How did we get so lucky to get Marilyn to get up so early? But I would like to say something else about what you just said, Diana, because that's awesome. The moment we identify someone as an addict, not only this person identifies him or herself as an addict, and also everybody else is going like, that person is wrong. We have so much problems because that person is addicted. And this is where Marilyn in her book describes it as, this is the identified person. And the identified person is the one who's seemingly got the problem. And now we've got everybody around it who also participates in this person's behavior, because we just said it's just a behavior. And because it's a behavior, most behaviors are a reaction to whatever is happening around the people. So that can be too much stress, it can be a lot of other things, and it can very well be family related or whatever. So this was for me also something where I went like, yeah, finally people are seeing the whole picture of this, and not just the, you are the addict, you are wrong, you need to go to AA or 12-step or stop smoking or whatever. This is really, this is the thing that I absolutely adored when I read that in her book.
Yes, and that we can be aware of, it started very soon. Since a little child, you are always judged what you are making good or wrong, or you are too small, you are not walking, you have 1.5 years, or you don't walk, or you don't speak not enough, or something else. That's why the problem started. They are always judged.
Yeah. And I mean, and the judgment also can be something that is seemingly not wrong, by saying like, oh, she's so pretty, and making it that, oh, this person's pretty, so she now does not have to have any brains, or the other way around. You know, the sister is maybe, oh, she's the clever one. Like, I'm not going to say that she's ugly, but you know, I'm just saying she's the intelligent one. And so these are all identities that people put onto others, onto family members, and that way causing them to go into a specific direction. And that means that not everybody is able to sort of bloom and open up, but they're going to sort of start to show what is considered appropriate behavior. And I bet Sarah can say a lot more about that.
I was just going to say, so you read my mind, you connected to me exactly, because when you look at the identified patient, most of the time there's even a different outlook on disease. If you look at the family dynamics, because sometimes these kids or wives or you know, family members are doing all those behaviors and being the sick one in the family to try to keep all the family together. I mean, like, they see themselves as the one that has come to maintain, you know, the family ties. And you have this sick child that is always, you know, going to medical consultation because he's constantly getting sick. He's so stressed, he develops compulsive behavior or addictive behaviors. And when you look at the dynamics of the situation, the identified patient, as Marilyn super describes that, is the one that is trying to heal the family dynamics. So when we empower that person and we let them know that they're choosing that behavior, and they have to also be an allowance of what their parents, his or her parents, choose, whether to keep together or to split apart, you give that child or young person the power to really live, you know, because he's getting sick unconsciously or doing this behavior to maintain the parents together. And you give the parents choice when they realize that, you know, the child is not doing that to spite them, but in a way to try to heal them, you know, out of the desire to, you know, keep the family together. So it's a wonderful way to do a lot of psychological family dynamics therapy, because you treat not just the person, and I won't even use the word treat, you enlighten, you show, you empower the person. You know, it's my medical mind always talking about treatment, but here is a different uptake. It's really empowering the people. And if they want to see it, if they are ready to choose, they can change it. And we as therapists, as doctors, as psychotherapists, have to learn to be more in allowance of what our patients, our clients, our families choose. And that's one thing that I learned a lot, is like, you're not responsible to change the world for other people. You can just show them, you can just be that space. And if they're ready to go on that journey, well, that's amazing. And if they're not, you just, you know, put the seed there. And when it's ready, when it's time, if they choose, then they'll take it. But it's given me a lot of freedom to just, like, I used to feel so responsible for the results of the treatment. But with all these tools, I can now just let go, you know, just have much more ease into the conversations and the dynamics that we work with the people around us. So it's, you know, there's so much to be said about that. And the tools are really easy. The tools are really coming with, you know, ease, with joy. And it's so easy that people usually don't value them. So the amazing thing is that it's a no requirement class. No one has to take any previous access class to take it. So I really super encourage teachers, parents, just everybody to come and join the party.
I was actually going to say that how much this class can assist people that are going back to normality, that will have to interact with a new dimension, with new realities, new, I wouldn't say issues, but new habits that people have perhaps, you know, gained during this period. How much can this class assist anyone that is going back to work, to school, dealing with kids, dealing with other people in the relationship? I mean, it's really not about addictions, and it's really not about drugs, but what can we contribute and receive from this class altogether. Yeah.
Totally. And we have got Shandana on with us as well. And she is in this room. Hello, Shandana.
I
welcome.
was not sure. I was not sure if I was. I wasn't sure if it was a meeting for just the translators or. So I didn't want to just say hi and disturb you guys. Hello.
But
I'm glad to be here.
great to have you, because Shandana, you're promoting this class and in India,
Yes.
and you've already taken one, haven't you?
I haven't. Actually, this is my first. I haven't
Right.
as yet. No, and I'm. Both Isha and I are promoting this class in India, and yeah, we have had the most fabulous feedback from people who've been, I mean, no, we've been speaking to people about, have you read the book? So we are like gently introducing the book into their worlds as of now. So, you know, that's like the first step into, for those who don't know about the classes yet. And they've been calling and saying, wow, you know, I want more. So that is something that's beautiful. And yes, another thing, I was listening to you all while you were speaking about this, and you know what I found really interesting is that if I could share that here is, you know, when we talk about addiction, what I find, being a Talk to the Entities facilitator and having done the addiction and entities call over and over again, it's like when I facilitate that class, it's like, I know this is so different, yet the addiction that we have towards the destruction and self-judgment, you know, that.
No, we know nothing about that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's like everything else is just a byproduct, you know. You look at the drugs, you look at the alcohol, you look at whatever else you look at. All that is it's just a byproduct. But the actual judgment addiction and that addiction to destruction, self-destruction.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're willing to look at that, it's like, whoa, I can change that.
And it's beautifully put, Shandana. It's really amazing. Yeah, I think it's so true. Where all these places where we decide that it's wiser to destroy ourselves, to hide, to make ourselves smaller, because otherwise we would be showing ourselves. We would be being us. And
it's just a distraction, right, Ingrid? All of this, the drugs, the alcohol, it's just a distraction. The actual, if you look at it, it's like, oh, I'm just addicted to destroying myself. And now what am I using?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
it's just that.
We said it a little earlier. I'm not sure if you were on there.
Oh, I wasn't. I missed it. I'm so sorry. Actually, you know, Isha she's not on today. Yeah. Sorry.
We said that addiction is just a behavior. Like as the quote from Marilyn, addiction is just a behavior, and that explains also the self-destruction in situations where you cannot handle it, where you seemingly think that it's not possible to handle things. That's where you can then choose to hide, to run away into addiction of any kind. And that's also one of the things that she describes in the book, where there's a chapter called Use, Abuse and Addiction, where she explains you can sort of have a day at work, and you come home and you cook a dinner and you sit down and you enjoy yourself and you have a nice glass of wine to complete it. That's use. And then she says there is abuse, and this is where you come home and you've had this rough day and you've had a phone call from your teacher, from your son's teacher, and you really need to have a word with this kid, and you just thought, just hold on, I'm just going to have a glass of wine first, right? Calm myself down. That is where it becomes abuse. And then it goes further, where every time you have a difficult conversation, you fill yourself up with alcohol or with weed, you smoke marijuana or whatever, just to numb yourself for whatever is going to come in this difficult situation. And that's where you slowly moved from use to abuse to addiction as one of the options of getting in there.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
those are all things that come from the book. So reading the book is one thing. And I must say, I have read the book and I have taken the class, and the class goes so much deeper than just the book. So it's really like, if you take the class, it is still such a gift to be able to also read the book. And the other way around, if you read the book, the class goes so much deeper. And Marilyn has beautiful exercises that she lets you do and gives you time to do and time to discuss this as well. That I was amazed. Marilyn's been a teacher in her life for many years, so she knows she knows the drill, and she really has some really wonderful exercises that she does with us in the class.
I really have the sense that this class is going to be phenomenal and beyond anything we have hoped before.
Yeah, so I'm also really looking forward to this class. It's going to be my second time, and still I'm looking forward to it. I know from the last one that whenever Marilyn did an exercise, I was like, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to use that for my classes and see how what bits and parts of it I can use if somebody is stuck, if the moment is there, just to have this as extra luggage in my case, my CF box, and but for everybody to have this in your toolbox is just something amazing. So I would like to thank you all, ladies, for being on the call, and let's give out some dates. The intro class is going to start on the 25th of September. And if you like the class on the 25th, we continue 26th till 29th of September. It's going to be 3.5 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours then. And I would say, hope to see you all there. We're going to have, maybe that as well, we're going to have translation into German, into Italian, into French, into Spanish, and into Dutch. So there you go. Anybody who's interested, let us know. And if you have any questions, reach out to either one of us. And we're going to say thank you, and looking forward to seeing you somewhere in the world soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.